Sometimes on guitar, the easiest route is not the best route. And this is a great example. These chords are technically challenging because of the stretch, but they sound beautiful. And there is a real reason why we're going to choose the harder way to play those chords. We're going to get into this. Grab your guitar. I'll meet you right after this. My name is David Wallerman. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players around the world master this piece of wood, this pencil. This is your pencil. The music comes from inside, and today we're going to look at chords, and more than just chord shapes, which can be used to create awesome music. That's what I want you to do. More than that, there is a concept behind that, if you understand this, can unlock a lot of new things, a lot of new chords, and actually it can help with playing this instrument in an easier way. Yes, it's counterintuitive because the chords are difficult to play, but there's a real reason for that. So before we get started, you can download the charts with all the different chords that we're going to play here and do that. The link is below. It's completely free. All I need from you is a valid email address and your name so that I can send you those chords and you will be added to my newsletter, which is free. You can unsubscribe anytime, but the newsletter is really tips, guitar tips to advance in your playing. I'm going to send you free courses and you can unsubscribe anytime. But for now, grab the charts below and let me tell you a little bit about these chords. These chords are really simple chords in their form. They're not chords made of complex embellishments. They're really not. They're based on triads. We're in the key of E major, which means that if I play an E major scale, well, the chords only use some of these notes. Okay. That being said, we are going to use some open strings. Why? Because open strings sound much brighter than fretted strings. Demonstration, I'm going to show you close up here. Let's say that I've got this note right here on the second string, 5th fret. That's an E. That's got a certain tone to it, right? I could play that same exact pitch here on the 3rd string, 9th fret. Can you hear how the pitch is the same, but the note that is closest to the nut sounds a little brighter. The further away I go from the nut of the guitar, right here, the darker it's going to sound. Sounds really dark here, right? That note can also be played with an open string, and that's going to be the brightest tone that you're going to get for that pitch, and that's on the 1st string, open. Very bright, right? Can you hear the progression and the tone here? It's getting darker and darker the further away I get. So we're going to use this because bright sounds combined with not so bright sounds is going to create some really interesting harmonic interactions with the tones of the chords that we're going to play. So we're going to use as many open strings as we can. And in this case, because we are in E major, we can play the first 2 strings open. Why? Because these 2 notes are found in E major. Right? So we're going to use this as a constant. And then we're going to move these chords around. Here's the chord shape that I'm going to show you. There are some major and minor chord shapes, and we're just going to move these around. In essence, we're only playing the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. So depending on the placement of these chords, we're going to have minor 3rds sometimes, or diminished 5ths, or major 3rds, but those are the only notes that we're going to move around with these 2 notes on the first 2 strings, open. So I'm going to show you the first chord that we're going to play, which is E major. An E major triad made of a root on the low E string 12th fret, a major 3rd, and a perfect 5th. Now we're going to reorganize these notes a little bit, and instead of having 1, 3, 5, we're going to have 1, 5, and 3. So that has been used, this sound. Sounds very Eric Johnson-y, right? Those kind of inversions. So that's what we're after here. But instead of using 1, 5, the 5th on the 5th string, 14th fret, and the 3rd on the 3rd string, 13th fret, in this case, we are going to change things around. Why? Because if I played it like this and I want to have the 1, 5, 3, and these two open strings heard at the same time, well, I'm going to have to do a weird thing here with, if I'm playing with the pick here, the pick is going to strum the bass. Then I've got my middle finger here for the 5th, and then that leaves me with these two fingers, right? The ring and the pinky, but I really want to hear the 3rd and these two open strings, so I'm missing fingers here. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to rearrange things around a little bit. Here's how. Instead of playing the 5th on the 5th string, we're going to move it to a spot a little bit brighter on the guitar. So not only does it add brightness, but it will allow you to strum this a little bit easier. So we're going to move this 5th, the perfect 5th of E, we're going to move it to this string, the 4th string, 9th fret. You hear how it's the same exact pitch, right? So that is a little bit, little weird here, but we're going to use that. We're going to go with it because now we have the root, the 5th on the 4th string. The pinky is going to be played with the pinky is going to play the 3rd, which is on the 3rd string, 13th fret, and then we have these two open strings right here, allowing me to play the bass. And it's just easier to play because now instead of having two consecutive strings on the 6th and the 5th for 1 and 5, I just have the low E string, which is like kind of independent right here from the other groups of strings. It's easier to strum. So now we have root, 5 major 3rd, and these two open strings. Now if I take my major scale, the E major scale, and I harmonize that by using a 1, 5, 3, depending on the space, on the position of these chords, I'm going to have sometimes major chords, major triads, sometimes minor triads, sometimes a minor triad with diminished 5th, and that's what we're after, but we're using the same exact shape, and that's what you get in the PDF. I'm going to play these shapes descending, so I'm starting with the 1 here, like we played. That is the root, that's E. If I go in reverse, before that I have the 7th degree of that scale, which is 1 fret below for the root, and then the 5th is going to be diminished. So that 5th is going to be played, that's a big stretch here. I'm using my ring finger for the root, and then the index is playing that diminished 5th, and then we have a minor 3rd, like that. I need to get used to that. Before that, before the 7th, we have the 6th, which is back to a perfect 5th, a minor 3rd. Then we go one step further, and now we are reaching the 5th degree. Same exact shape that we have with the 1. The 4th now is going to be played on the 5th fret. Before the 4th, we have the 3, which is a minor triad. So I've got root, 5th, minor 3rd, these two open strings. And then we have the 2. So the 2 is a little different because I cannot go below the open string if I wanted to follow the same shape. So we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to add a minor 7th here. So we've got root on the low E string, 2nd fret. It's an F sharp. And then we're going to go with that minor 7th. We can add that. That note is part of our major scale. And then we've got the 3rd and these two open strings. So that's the only one that we're going to alter a little bit. If I were to play this an octave higher, then I could reach that note. But here I can't. So if I play these one after the other from the 1 all the way down to the root an octave lower, this is what I'll get. And And then we can finish with either an E major traditional or add the ninth. It doesn't really matter, but those are the chords that we're going to use. And now you understand why we're going the hard route, right? So what do we do with this? Well, we first of all understand the concept, which is sometimes it's better to go with a harder shape to have something more musical, more brighter, not more brighter, just brighter. And also it's going to facilitate the picking in the end. So that's important. And the second thing I want you to do is really important when you're learning a new chord shape is not to just learn it for the sake of learning it. Make music with that. So once you downloaded that PDF where you'll see those 7 chord shapes listed, I want you to make music with it. We know that these chords are extracted from the major scale. From the major scale, you can also extract some arpeggios. You can also extract the major pentatonic scale. And I want you to kind of blend both together. Speed doesn't matter. I don't want you to use a backing track, but I just want you to be creative, kind of like this. So you start with one of these chords. Just kind of explore, maybe skip the next one to this one. And this. It really doesn't matter. You can't go wrong. And then add some melodic lines. That wasn't super clean because I sped up a little bit, but that's kind of the idea. Be creative with this, have fun. Download the chart below. It is free. I highly recommend you to do that so that you can see how that fits with the rest of the scale. Link is below, and if this was your first visit, thank you for stopping by. You should subscribe if you liked what you saw so that you don't miss any videos. Every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a new video like this one is released at 1 p.m. US Mountain Time, helping guitar players around the world find their voice on the instrument, find new ideas, and just communicate ideas that are stuck inside and really need the language of music in order to come out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.